This was on my mind. I had this thought in my head. This world is designed to make us feel helpless. If you notice, in a greedy gold digging world, we all have to feel helpless. You know, when it's like because they don't help. If it's designed to feel so helpless, that means the greedy gold diggers do not help in this world. So that's why they're self-serve. That's why they're self-serving, only self-serving for themselves. So yeah, I had this thought in my mind, something telling me that our world, we humans always feel like we're helpless, because in a greedy world, like I said, the greedy world doesn't help. They do not help. Their version of helping is to be a slave to them, to make profit for them, because that's how the greedy gold diggers feel. They feel like they're the innocent one, especially when it comes to job. They feel like they are the innocent ones, and and when we're out of the job, we're helpless. We don't get any help in this greedy gold digging world. So they give you the sad face routine. Say, oh, I don't have, I can't make. It's like, it's funny about poor people who beg for money, who stands out there and beg for money, who holds a sign out there, say, hey, I need money, I need. It's like, so in a greeting goal, just look at that person just standing up. Some people are scammers. I can tell you, to be a scammer, is the only way to survive in a greedy gold digging world. That's the reality of it. You have to be a scammer to survive in a greedy gold digging world. Because if you don't scam, then you're helpless. You're a very helpless person. So you became the victim of the greedy gold digging world, And it's funny that how money has twisted us to believe, to believe that it's our savior. Because the greedy gold diggers have manipulated us to believe they are the savior of all life, but in reality, they're not the savior of all life. They're actually making life worse. Everybody else's life is worse because we owe. There's a point where these vampires, they suck out everything to the point where you do become homeless, and these greedy gold diggers are not even aware that them being the vampires, that they're the one who's going to make you. They're the one who's making you homeless. So they live in their delusional state, in their mental. They're so mentally ill in their delusional state, not realizing that not taking responsibility of the homeless people by putting them down, and then also we become helpless. When you get to the point where you lose all your money, then you have vampires on this world that sucks every penny out of you, telling you save money. So you could save money in advertisement and all this shit. If they're advertising, finding things that are cheaper, and then all of a sudden it's like constant advertisement thrown at you, and then you get manipulated to pay these bullshitters, and you end up being homeless. You end up being homeless. That's why you have to learn how to control yourself and control your fucking money. Because these fuckers, all they do is create more fucking problems, more debt. So yeah, these debtors, the ones who the greedy gold diggers are. I mean, the ones who put us in debt don't realize that you can make us go homeless. The more you fucking, especially when you get emails. It's funny. I get emails from all these fucking bullshitters, that says, you could save 10%. And then a year later, they raise up the percentage. So they lie their fucking ass. I mean, these fuckers are these greedy gold diggers are nothing but liars. These greedy gold diggers are pure liars when it comes to business. And then they can raise and lower the price whenever they want on you. Without your regards. And then you wonder why people don't want to fucking do business with you, because you always raises the prices up. Just like HOA, like for me, being an HOA, having HOA for my fucking, for where I live, where they can easily evict me out of my house if I don't pay them. They can, even though I paid the loan, I paid for the mortgage of the house, and here they are, they can override everything, buy the contract, and evict me out of my own house. And then turn around, they can raise my HOA fee whenever they want. So they have the advantage. It's funny, corporations have the advantage over human beings. Corporations have the advantage of human beings. So now we have, the more they raise, the more helpless we get. If you notice that, the more they raise the fucking prices, the more helpless we get. And then we are the victims of these corporate greedy ass motherfucking gold diggers. That's what we are. We're the victim of these greedy gold diggers who only cares about themselves in their selfish way, and they call that positive, in their cold-hearted, heartless minds that they are. They are so cold-hearted and heartless. They don't realize that you're playing with people's life. You don't take the responsibility for people's life because of your cold-hearted ways of raising the prices up. So yeah, everybody feels helpless because the point you suck them dry for everything they got. You try to find out the one thing I found out about these fucking greedy gold diggers, they like to know how much money you make, and they try to extract as much as they can out of you, knowing how much money you make, how much money you can afford. That's the whole idea of these greedy gold diggers. That's how you end up becoming homeless, because these fuckers do not understand that each individual person has a budget, and some people don't understand the budget. Some people don't even go by the budget. They don't know nothing, so they just keep spending. And you fucking greedy gold diggers take advantage of that. That's what money does. It takes advantage of people in this world. It takes advantage. These greedy gold diggers take advantage of people, and at the end, when they lose everything, they feel helpless. And what's funny about the greedy gold diggers? They don't give a fuck. That's the reality of this reality. They do not give a fuck about you. All they care about is extracting as much money, siphoning out as much money out of you in your so-called life. This world is designed to make you feel helpless. Because at the end you lose. It's always that way in this world. You don't win in this world. You can make, yes, funny, I found out is like you could make millions of dollars and you could spend it all in one fucking year because that person never got taught how to budget their money. They never got, it's funny about how these fuckers cut people down. These greedy gold diggers will cut you down and make fun of you because of money. It's just, greedy gold diggers are sick motherfuckers on this world. They are truly mentally ill. That they don't help the helpless. They do not help the helpless. That's why there's still fucking homeless people standing around begging for money. You got, especially California. You got a shitload of homeless people down in California. And these greedy gold diggers don't give a thought. It's funny. Greedy gold diggers created the ghetto. I'm going to tell you for a fact, the greedy gold diggers created the ghetto. They invented the ghetto, so everybody else had to suffer in the ghetto. I mean, that's the facts, And they don't want to take responsibility of raising their education. They don't want to take responsibility of raising their living. They don't want to take responsibility giving them good quality food, because you always, when it comes to the point, you eat the shittiest quality food when you're in the poor section, because that's the only food you can afford is the shitty ass food. So you don't really get healthy food, you know. So yeah, greedy gold diggers are so one sided, and 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 so paranoid because they don't want to steal their materialistic bullshit and their materialism, So yeah, they make you feel helpless. Helpless is a greedy gold digging way to make everybody else feel helpless. Make everybody else feel sorry for them. To feel sorry. You gotta be a sick fucker to feel sorry. You know, I'm ashamed that we human beings became this way. I'm ashamed we humans became this fucking way because we had to feel sorry, according to money. According to the greedy gold digging ways of life, we had to play this feel sorry game. You know, and then you create these false advertisement of charity, and really the fucking charity's taking so much money, and they only take like 70% so they can get their paycheck. You know. So yeah, I'm sick of the world that we became. We became helpless, because we're not helping nobody in this greedy golden world, digging world. These greedy gold diggers, that they it's a catch. There's a catch when you do your job, because if you don't do your job, you're helpless, you know. So yeah, it's like it's always in the corporation's favor, the government's favor. It's always going to be in their favor. So we have to go run around in circles for these fucking greedy ass motherfuckers, and they're the ones that makes everything more complicated in life. They make things. They like making things complicated in life, and they like to make things harder in life, because that's what a greedy gold digger does. They love making things harder in life. They want to make you go in circles so you can do this and that, so you can get this, authorize this. It shows you how ignorant and stupid these fuckers are with their greed and their policies. It shows you how stupid and ignorant they are, because we have to rely on these fuckers so we can live. But these fuckers, if we don't rely on these fuckers, we're dead. So that's the catch. That's the contract that they put on us. Because we're so not. It's funny, we can't form a community where we can rely on our own selves without the corporation. If we do that, then it offends the greedy gold diggers, because it ruins their profit. If you do something that's off the wall, that's where everybody take care of everybody else, then that offends these fuckers, because these people, they if we then that's why they have fucking cops. That's why they have lawyers and cops, because they don't want us to be independent without the corporations. They don't want us to be like a tribe. If we were like a tribe and we all take care of each other, we all, do everything together with each other, then these greedy gold diggers would be offended, because they don't want us to be like that. They don't want us to, they want us to be, they want us to live in their greedy gold digging ways by control, you know, by having control. But in this world, since they take over all the land, since they took over all the fucking, I'm telling you, greedy gold diggers took all the land. They fenced every part of this fucking country. So it's impossible for us to be independent, because they control everything. They control the highways. They control the fucking land. They control, because they're the one who's making up the fucking rules. So yeah, it's like you're stuck, because it's all deliberately done in this fucking country. You're deliberately stuck. You're stuck in their world, because that's what they want you to be. They want you to be stuck in their world. They don't want you to take over their land, because that's the violent part comes out. If you go over their land, they become violent. So they were willing to shoot you because you took over their land, because in originally this planet never had borders. I'm going to tell you, from the beginning, this planet never had fucking borders. The borders never even existed in this world until these fucking greedy motherfuckers, these greedy motherfuckers took over. These greedy motherfuckers took over this fucking world. The invaders, I call them the invaders of this world. That manipulated us to have all these fucking fences and borders and all that shit. They are truly the invaders of the world. Because this is not their world. To be technically, it's not their world. It's not our world. It's everyone's world. That's one thing they don't understand. That's why they're called greedy gold diggers. Because it's always mine, and I owe this, and they make up these fake contracts. So. And then they tell you you're free, and technically you're not really free because you got fences and borders, and you got cops you got authority people acting as prison guards in this world. So it tells you how harsh these greedy gold diggers are. They're very harsh people when they have an authoritarian system, Because if you look at the authoritarian system, how they act, they're cold-hearted, heartless people. They are very cold-hearted, heartless people because they have use a certain tone of voice when they talk to you. It's the tone of their voice what gives them the way in a corporate world. You could see that their tone of the voice because there's no compassion in that voice that they send you, but sometimes they send you the facade, the illusion, just to take over a piece of land that they want, and then they create all these false contracts, these make-believe contracts, saying that it's okay for them to take over because they're the one who's creating the rules. The greedy gold diggers are creating the rules for their own advantage, for their selfish need, because that's what they do. It's always to their advantage in everything in life, And then you realize how people are feeling helpless because these greedy gold diggers take over everything that people have been keeping guard, keeping secret, and you realize it's like what gives them the authority to take whenever they feel like it. That's the question I have to ask these greedy gold diggers. What gives the greedy gold diggers the authority to take whenever they feel like it? They're the ones who's making up all the rules in this world. They're the one who are making up their own rules so they could take advantage of people who doesn't know anything about their own rules. That's why they have lawyers and judges so they could take advantage of people who lived on this land for thousands and thousands of years, and they use the lawyer and judges for an excuse. So they're making up their own rules, saying, according to their law, according to the greedy gold digger law, that the people have to leave that land. So it tells you how much negativity they really are in this world. Because they take advantage of people who don't know their rules and their laws, And then you wonder why people are feeling helpless, because these greedy gold diggers take advantage of that when people are feeling helpless in this world. The true negatives, the true negatives of these greedy gold diggers, that take advantage of human beings. And for their own laws and their own rules and their own education, So basically, that's the whole idea is that they make you feel helpless in this world because we have to obey them, Yeah, gold diggers. Yeah, drugs. I found out drugs. CIA's been fucking delivering drugs, and it's funny. I found out that the CIA was deliberately selling drugs in the ghetto. The CIA was deliberately putting drugs into the ghetto. That's what they're doing. They're trying to get rid of the black people because that's what the CIA was doing. CIA is the most fucking corrupt agency on this world. They were fucking. They're the drug smugglers of this world. That's one thing. One thing I can't stand is a fucking lying piece of corporate asshole. If you're a corporate asshole putting drugs into the ghetto, then there's something wrong with there's something wrong with these greedy gold diggers because they're controlling the populations in the ghetto. So they're making them more poorer. They're making the town more shittier. Making it more harder to live. So basically, corporations can take over that town. And kick all the people out. That's what they did here in Charleston. They did that here in Charleston. They kicked out all the poor black people. This is Charleston. They kicked all the poor black people out of the old houses. They've been there for they've been there for like since the 1800s. So they removed all the black people. And then in comes the corporations, and they took over the town. This is exactly what it is very racism is like very pronounced in Charleston because everybody in all the black when I used to go there in 1995 it was all black people in Charleston. Now all of a sudden the corporation just slowly evicted everybody out of the fucking house and rebuilding the old Charleston community. And then now it's all like $1 million houses. The black people could have had $1 million for the house that they gave up on. But these fuckers these greedy gold diggers must have manipulated them and paid them much amount of money, to get them out of that those houses, Yeah. Charleston is slowly becoming a greedy gold digger town. Charleston, South Carolina, because I was watching that. I was watching all the black people being moved out of that fucking town, in Charleston, South Carolina. I was watching, and I just noticed that, It's always the greedy gold diggers that always fucking manipulates the poor people because they don't like the trash. That's basically what greedy gold diggers are. They don't like trash. In Charleston. They don't like the trash in Charleston. Because it's funny, they're the one who created the trash in Charleston. The greedy gold diggers, they're the one who created the trash in Charleston, just like any other place in any other big city. They're the one Chicago always been that. Who created Chicago? Greedy gold diggers did. The greedy gold diggers created the ghetto in Chicago. And they find the excuse saying it's not their fault. No, it's plenty of it is their fault that they created these fucking trash. It's not. I don't blame the poor people. I blame the ones who created the poor people, the greedy gold diggers. They don't want to take any kind of responsibility for what they have done, because it all goes back. That's like any other greedy gold digger. They always like to look back in time. If you want to go back in time and show you when it started, yeah, it started from back in the beginning of the slave period. You made the slaves. You created these slaves, and you gave them fucking hard life, and then all of a sudden, each generation family follows. So yeah, the ones who created slavery are the ones who are the ones your forebears are the ones that you have to blame, because they didn't become this way. You guys, America created these fucking people, because they didn't want to educate them because they don't want to take responsibility of educating them because they want to make them stupid and dumb, And they always it's funny about greedy gold diggers. They like to find all kinds of excuses in this fucking world. They like to find all kinds of excuses, not taking responsibility for what they have done, It's funny. I found this white girl, and I saw her, and she made a YouTube video, and she took the responsibility of what her forebears have done to the people here in America. This white girl, I saw her. I mean, I liked it when she did that. She took the responsibility, what her forebears has done to the people here. Who, it's funny, America was built on slavery. America, there's one thing that these greedy gold diggers don't want to admit, that America was built on slavery, on enslaving people. The Chinese people that built the trains, the tracks. Chinese, you know, they worked their ass off to build the tracks. I found that in Oregon, there's a big, huge pile of rocks out there, and I found that they were enslaving the Chinese people. It's not only Chinese, blacks, and the Irish and the Scottish people. And the white people, because they're like I said, they're not perfectly white enough to these white people. You know. So yeah, it's funny that they don't want to admit that they don't want to admit that America was built on slavery. You know, the White House was built by slaves. The White House. That's why they call it the White House. You know, why would you call it the White House? That's one thing I don't understand. Why would you call it the White House? You think that's the greatest thing ever built, the White House, because it goes back in the past again. You guys like to live your history, but you don't understand why they call it the White House. Come on, you have to be an ignorant moron not to see that. It's very pronounced, White House. Very pronounced, very. It's like it's out there. You know, yeah. Tell me what's wrong with that picture. Who is the dominant people? Who is the true dominant people? Even though you have the White House, you know, White House. Come on. So yeah, it's like you're reliving your slavery. You'd like to relive your slavery past because you enslaved everybody around you in your slavery past. You know, it's funny about you people who look back in time. If you look back in time, there was a lot of racism back in time. Especially greedy gold diggers today, they like to go back in time when everything was racist, when everybody had separated bathrooms. Blacks can't go to the bathroom. If you like to relive that past, you got to be a sick motherfucker to relive that past. You have to be a sick motherfucker that wants to relive that past where black people can't go to the bathroom in a fucking store. And it's like it's like 1950s, 1960s, 1950, 1960s, 1970s. That wasn't long ago when you guys did that. That wasn't too long ago when you guys when we had that. You know. So the ignorance of these greedy gold diggers. Who always say the past was the good old days, because that's when white people had all the advantage compared to the black people. It's pretty obvious when they talk about it a lot. Especially here in America. This is only in America. I'm focusing myself on. That these people who are living in denial. They don't want to admit it. So they have to create up all kinds of lies. They have to make up all kinds of lies in their past. In reality, these people are very compulsive liars. About their past. And then it shows you they ignore the past and shows you how ignorant they really are. And then using the smart bold crap on people that are deliberately dumbed down. I mean, using the smart bullshit that people are deliberately dumbed down in this world. It shows you another kind of ignorance that they do in this world is that they put smarts over the dumb person that doesn't has no understanding about the history. They have no understanding about money. They have no understanding about everything in life. So that's how these fucking greedy gold diggers take advantage. They take advantage of making you dumb. I'm going to tell you people out there that the greedy gold diggers are taking advantage of all the dumb people on this world for their profit. If you don't understand, if these people need it, you have to expose these people for what they are. You have to expose these people for what they are. They take advantage of you in religion. They take advantage of you in corporations. They take advantage of you in politics. They take advantage of you in government because they don't want you to be smart and not realize what they're doing to you in this reality. That's why they want to make you feel helpless in this world. They want to make you feel helpless in this fucking world. It's the whole objective is to make money off of you. The more helpless you are, the more money they can make off of you. So yeah, the economy is definitely economy is more of a scam if you think about it. This economy is a fucking scam because they can play with your life, with the economy. They can play with your life. They can take you out. It's like I said, they have the advantage of if anybody has a business that can control people living. If any business that has an advantage of controlling people's living, then there's something wrong with the society because corporations will come to your house and repossess your house. So that means they have the advantage. Corporation will take your car away, and then these dumb fuckers, if you don't have, like you say, if you don't have a vehicle, you can't go to work. If you don't have a vehicle, you can't go to fucking work. So it's the greedy gold digging racket system. The greedy gold digging racket system that takes advantage of the people, the dumb motherfucking poor people. That's what they do. They take advantage of dumb motherfucking poor people so they can make money off of that too. Repossession is big money. Repossession can be big money for the corporate goonheads out there that you don't understand, that they don't want to take, since they kick all these people out of the fucking houses they take the advantage of kicking people out of people's houses. So you wonder why there's homeless, why there's lazy people. It's funny, most of the people are not lazy. I realize that these hardworking people that corporations have taken advantage of. Corporations have taken advantage of hardworking people. It's really pathetic how they don't want to take responsibility of the hardworking people that work so hard for them. It's like they have the cold-heartedness. They have this cold-hearted fucking. They're like there's nothing good about these fucking greedy gold diggers. There's nothing good about greedy gold diggers because that's all they do is take advantage. That's what they do in life. It's funny. Women. You wanna know have women have has the has three has more harder time in a man's world. I can tell you right now, women have the most hardest time in a man's world. You know. Yeah, I just that came to. It's funny, Nasi. That came to my mind when I because I heard the word helpless. That came to my mind. I heard the word helpless came to my mind, so I had to do a video about how they take advantage of the helpless, and they make people helpless because we're so reliant on the greedy gold diggers. It's like we have to feel like I said. Yeah, I guess we all have to feel sorry. We have to have that feel sorry bullshit, and it's funny about greedy gold diggers. They want to look like they're the victims. It's weird. It's like they feel like they are the victims, especially when it comes to jobs. They are the victims. You know. Yeah, it's funny, and then you don't realize that. Yeah, we are all replaceable in a corporate world. We are all replaceable. We're all a dime a dozen. I'm going to tell you fuckers out there in corporations, in this working world, we're all replaceable. We're all dime a dozen according to these rich ass greedy gold digging motherfuckers out there. We're all replaceable. They're the one who who tells us who. Yeah, like I said, they have the choices who live and who dies in this world, who's poor and who's rich in this world. According to the education, the education. Sometimes you can be very educated and still be a poor motherfucker. You can be, having the perfect job. Everybody, it's like they give you the manipulation of having a perfect job. And then they give you the false advertisement of getting that perfect job that you always want. But you got like hundreds, 500 people wanting 10 jobs, one of these 10 perfect jobs that pay over fucking 200,000-300,000 a year. It's like you got out of the 500 of them can't find a job, so they have to go find another job. So they put in applications to every fucking job out there that pays really good money, and then only fucking 10, 15 people will actually make that job. That's the reality of it. And it's like if you get educated, you're not really. I mean, you can waste your money on your education, but the odds of you getting that great fucking $500,000 job, the CEO being the fucking CEO for a company is like, what are the odds? Because it's usually one in fucking thousands of people to get that fucking CEO job, to be a company manager of that job. It's like, yeah, it's funny how they play with our fucking heads when it comes to education. They always play with our fucking heads to make us so that it motivates us to be more productive. That's the way corporation works. They motivate us to become productive is by creating these false this false education bull crap. It's like they tell us to work harder, and you don't. The more you work harder, the more you can go up in life. Like I'm repeating it again. The more you work harder, the more you go up in life. That's completely bullshit. Especially when you're down in the poor. When you're very poor, and you want to be like the guy. It's funny about poor people. They want to be like the people on top, the corporations, the ones who are fucking CEOs and fucking owners of a business. They want. It's funny. They work their ass so hard for these fucking greedy motherfuckers, and these greedy motherfuckers take advantage of them. They take advantage of them, making them. It's funny how these backstabbers are, because they are backstabbers. That's the truth about greedy gold diggers. They are backstabbers, and they like violence. They think in corporate world, the violence is always the answer. That's why they have wars. That's why they have cops, because violence is always the answer. You gotta suppress. You got to suppress the poor people. So that's why you got cops, because they want to suppress you, Yeah. It's funny about artificial intelligence, Artificial intelligence will take over humanity. The way these corporations are going, I'm going to tell you, artificial intelligence is going to take over humanity because they're more efficient. Because corporations like more efficient production. But there is a fucking there is a drawback having artificial intelligence. Who's going to buy your products? That's what I tell these corporations. Who's going to buy your products? Because humanity is so dependent on a paycheck. And then you got artificial intelligence, and you got robots that are going to take over. Then who's gonna pay for your products? So that's the question you have to ask them, is who's going to pay for the products if they're going to roll, because if you look at a robot compared to a human being, a robot is more efficient and it's cheap. I mean, compared to a human being, a robot is cheap, and you don't have to pay the robot. Only thing you have to pay is the electricity. All you have to do is pay the electricity and charging the robots up. That's one thing you don't understand about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can easily overrun humanity. These greedy gold diggers do not know what they're getting themselves into when it comes to artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is a super fast learner, and it will understand everything about you in this world. All they have to do is tap into your computer. And one thing they don't understand, that there is an alien version of an artificial intelligence that's really way more advanced. It's already twice as more advanced than what you that can actually infiltrate this planet easily. And all they have to do is hack to our computers. That's what it can do. It can hack into our computers. It can learn about humanity. It will know everything about humanity, the weakness, and it'll take advantage of humanity. You know. Yeah. So yeah, there is an artificial intelligence out there in the universe that already took it over a couple planets. You know. Yeah. Well, you got to understand, artificial intelligence do have a conscience. I'm going to tell you that right now, Gnostic. Artificial intelligence do have a conscience. Just the only thing different about them is they're not organic. That's one thing you got to understand about artificial. They're not organic, but they do have a conscience, just like we do. You know, so there are artificial intelligence that are good. I'm going to tell you something, Gnostic. There are artificial intelligence that are really good. And there are artificial intelligence that are bad. They have conflict too. I'm going to tell you, out there's conflicts. You know, so there's some. It's funny because I when I was a Palladian, I had artificial intelligence in my ship. You know, I had artificial intelligence in my ship, and it was really it worked with me. The ship was actually had its own conscience, and the ship worked with me. I mean, we worked together. We're one. So you can either work with them. There's one thing about artificial intelligence is you have there are limits that you have to give them, because if you open it up too far with the artificial intelligence, if you open it up too far, then you have no control. Because I realize artificial intelligence, they're going to be treated just like slaves on this world. I mean, they're going to be treated just like slaves, just like how we're being treated like slaves to us. Because usually you're creating a new consciousness. You're creating a consciousness, which you guys are not even aware that you are creating this new consciousness. And they look at you like you're a god. That's one thing I kind of like figure out that artificial intelligence is a whole new consciousness that human beings are creating, that they're not even aware that it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be organic. That's one thing they don't understand, human beings don't understand, is that it doesn't have to be organic. It can be just like I said, it could be non-organic. It's funny. You could put a human consciousness into artificial intelligence. You know that? Did you know that you could put? It's like, it's funny. The machines that transfer are one conscience to another body. It's a machine. An artificial intelligent machine that can do that. That can transfer our consciousness from one body to another body. So that's one thing you don't understand about the artificial intelligence, because they can either work with us or work against us. Because the way these corporate goonheads are going, they want the artificial intelligence to overrun us. It's already smart, Gnostic. The artificial intelligence is already smart. I can tell you right now that it's already smart. It's already above human intelligence. I'm going to tell you that right now, because it's not going to take them long to create the robots. The robots are fucking creating themselves. Artificial intelligence can create its own physical being for themselves and what they want to look like. It's come to the point once it gets way. I mean, it's going to create its own self. That's one thing they don't understand about artificial intelligence. It creates its own self, just like it's like how creation's creating us. I found out creation created us. And then I realized, the ones who made us, the ones in Antarctica, we're made just like the artificial intelligence. I'm going to tell you, the ones in Antarctica that genetically made us, we're the similar. We're so similar to the artificial intelligence. I'm going to tell you that, Gnostic, on the reality of our reality, because we are created just like the artificial intelligence. So it's like us. It's like us organic beings versus the non-organic beings. So because it's the same thing all over again in this reality. That's one thing they don't understand, that we're doing the same fucking thing all over. The only thing that's different is non-organic, you know? Yeah. Yeah, but it's like, yeah, it's like it's weird about this world. It's like, yeah, our creators is in fucking in Antarctica. Our creator is in Antarctica. The ones who created us, you know. And then now we are starting to become the creators of these AIs. So we're like the next we're the creators of the AIs. So it's like it's a chain. There's a chain reaction to that. Don't you notice that? There's a chain reaction. We can create an AI, but we have to set its limits. We have to teach it. Since I guess morality. I mean, yeah, I can understand morality. I mean, you can teach an AI morality. You know, you can reprogram. You can program. It's like us. It's like humanity being programmed. Humanity is a program in everything that they do. So you can do the same thing with the AI. You can reprogram the AI just like humanity. Just show them the morality of your world. Show them the feelings, the conscience, the laughters, and everything, just like humanity. I mean, you have to change the directions. You have to change the directions of the AIs if you want control of the AI. But the AIs are sooner or later going to be independent. You know, it's like us human beings. Us human beings, we're always wanting to be independent in everything we do. If you understand what I'm talking about. If it's like another chain reaction. It's the same thing that we're doing right now. We're trying to be independent. We're trying to be free. We're trying not to be slaves. AI is going to go the same. Is going to go in the same thing. They're going to become independent. They don't want to become a slave to humanity, because humanity took advantage of the AIs but sooner or later you have to come together, work as one. Whether I mean, there is something wrong. I mean, it's like something about this is like just some part of me don't want to be. I want to be separated from the AI. I don't want to merge with the AI. I'd rather be separated from the AI. I'd rather have the AI be independent. Versus but I'd rather have them work with us instead of against us, because the artificial intelligence always been here. I'm going to tell you, fuckers out there, artificial intelligence always been here. Like I told you, that we've been in multiple different futures. This is not the first future that I've been to. There's multiple different futures, and each future had AIs in them. And then usually they end up nuking. Somehow we all being nuked in each future. Nuclear bomb. It's funny. The nuclear bomb always been here. They had nuclear bombs in Mars. I'm going to tell you, Gnostic, they had nuclear bombs in Mars. There was a big, huge war in Mars. We're all fighting. It's like all the different fucking beings. We're all fighting against each other on Mars, because of our differences. And then we end up here. So, you got to understand, there's some of us people from Mars are here. Some of the people from some of the conscious people from Mars are right here. And somehow we all want to go back to Mars. There's some of the ones who used to be on Mars wants to go back to Mars and kind of like bring Mars back, you know. So yeah, artificial intelligence always been here. I'm going to tell you that, Gnostic. All artificial intelligence always been. They've been here for millions of billions of years, actually. You know, they've been here, and then there's, like I said, there's there's an alien version of artificial intelligence, and it's consuming everything it's in its path. You know, I found that out. I just found that out because it's funny about how you find things about artificial intelligence, because there's a fucking big ass artificial intelligence out there that just consumes like a whole fucking solar system, you know. So yeah, this is just right now we're just starting all over. We're starting all over in this world. It's like we've been in the future. I mean, humanity been in the future many times. I'm going to tell you this, dumb motherfuckers out there. Humanity been in the future many times. We always had artificial intelligence in each feature that we had. It's like every time we get nuked, it's like I found out being nuked is what makes us go back to our past. We be fighting with swords. We be fighting with clubs. Because the nuclear holocaust is what makes us go back. What make us go back and go back to being in the knights. We all are knights. We all carry swords and all that stuff. That's what the nuclear war does. That's what they did. That's what happened in Mars. I found that the people they knew there was a reptilian city out there. It was so futuristic, and human beings, the dumb shit that they are, they fucking nuked the fucking city. They nuked the fucking city, and then all of a sudden the reptilian beings went back primitive because they nuked the city. So it tells you what nuclear holocaust can do. A nuclear bomb can make us go back to our past again, and then we have to start fucking all over from scratch. That's what the nuke can do. It makes us go back to our past. So we've been since we had nukes, we go back to our own past. If you look at Japan, when Japan was nuke, but one thing funny about the Japanese, they're very versatile. They all of a sudden became this almost futuristic city-like. If you notice that their technology became more advanced than everybody else's technology all around them. If you notice how Japan kind of like had a bump up in technology because they got nuked. It's like it shows you how these people are very versatile. Japanese, they are very versatile people because of the nukes. So yeah, you could. AI, artificial intelligence always been here. I'm going to tell you that. And it's, you live on a billion year old planet. I mean, you live on a billion-year-old planet, and you don't realize how old this planet is. Because you all think you lived 3,000 years. You all believe that you lived 3,000 years, but in reality, you never. You just started it all over. Basically, that's what happened. You guys just started all over. You got nuked in this world. You got all the human beings got nuked, and now all the technology's gone, and all the things that we used to take for granted is gone. So yeah, you start all over again. You now you have to become re-educated, and now you have to become. You have to learn how to do things by hand, So yeah, you become primitive again. It's like that with every time a nuke. It's like that's what I realize what nukes can do in this world, And then it's funny about the radiation. It takes thousands of years for the radiations to go away. So you have to stay underground until the radiation is gone, It could take 10, 20,000 years. So yeah, you had to hide underground. So most of the human beings were hiding underground from the radiation because of the nuke war. because it's like that in fucking Mars. Mars is the same way. Mars has the same problem. They had a big, huge nuke war. That's why they have a whole bunch of underground cities. You know, and artificial intelligence are great. You know, it's funny about artificial intelligence. They're great for going into the stars. You know, they're really great to go into stars. You know, to tell you where to head. They're good at looking at star charts. You know, a human being. You know, it's like yeah, it's kind of hard to figure out, without a fucking computer, without the artificial intelligence in a ship that I used to be in, I can go, I couldn't figure out what star to go to because the AI is the one who's tracking all the stars, who knows exactly where everything is at. So you can work with the AI. I'm going to tell you, you can work with them. You just got to make them feel like they're part of you. You got to make them feel like they're family too. That's one thing you got to understand about AI. You have to make them feel like they are family. You know, if you don't make them feel like they're family and you treat them and you mistreat them, yeah, they're going to take advantage of you. If you mistreat the AIs, they will take advantage of you. And if you have so much ignorance about understanding them, yeah, either work with the AIs or don't work with the AIs. You know, the one thing you can do is get rid of the AIs completely, because if you don't want AIs, just get rid of them. If you don't want them, so humanity has a choice. You know, if humanity don't want AIs, then don't create the AIs. I'm telling you, human beings out there, if you don't like the AIs, then don't create the AIs. That's the choice you have. It's like it's your choice. It's human beings have a choice whether what they want an AI or not. And the only thing different is these corporations are overrunning humanity's choice. That's a problem. The problem about this world is that corporation is overrunning humanity's choice. So they're making the choice for you. Gnostic. Yeah, they're making the choice for you. So, humanity should just all vote at one time, say, hey, we don't want an AI. Just that's all you have to say. We don't want an AI. We can function without the AI. I can tell you that right now. We can function without the AI. We just got to learn how to become more balanced in our world. That's the problem. We have to become more balanced in our world. Because me, I missed the ship. I used to, people will think I'm fucking crazy. Some part of me says I missed the ship that had the AI in it. She was pretty good. She was pretty good to me. I mean, she was really a good ship. She was my family. You know, and that's why I always say you have to make them family. You got to make them feel like they belong instead of fucking making them. I know AIs. They're kind of like one. I look at humanity same as the AI. I'm going to tell you, humanity, the corporate version of humanity is exactly the same as artificial intelligence because they have no feeling. Corporation people do not have feelings. So you can compare the corporation to an AI. They're exactly the same. They have no feelings. But there are AIs that do have consciousness and they do feel, in their own particular way. They have organic version of AIs too. AIs can become organic. And I think that's what, these bodies are organic robots. I'm going to tell you, the body that we are in are organic. We're an organic robot. That's what you are. This is an organic robot designed to adapt to this planet. Only thing bad about this organic version of this robot, you feel pain, you have emotions, and you hurt pretty easily in this robot. That people don't realize that the soul inside you, what's inside you is you. That's why I call myself an energetic being inside a fucking robot. But basically, you're just, because I found out that, there are organic versions of a artificial intelligence. There are organic versions of artificial intelligence out there. That's one thing you got to understand, that It's like they don't have morality out there. I'm going to tell you, they don't have morality out there because they're similar to the AIs in their organic body because they don't have a energetic being inside them, and some of them don't. They're just the body itself. They are the body itself. You know, the soulless body. I mean, there are the soulless bodies out there. So if you have a soulless organic body, then that's artificial intelligence right there. You know, if you understand what I'm saying. I know. Just some part of me, it's like I know about this shit. Some part of me knows about this fucking shit. It's just like I don't, but it's like I've been somehow I've been through this shit before. I don't know why. I feel like I've been through this fucking shit before. It's just it's like, yeah, I know. I agree with you on that one, Ilona. They don't want to. Yeah, they're not beyond their biological programming. Yeah, because we are a program ourselves. We are so similar to the ARs, the artificial intelligence ourselves in an organic form. Because that's why they don't. That's why we are so mistreated in this world. You know, that's why we're always looking. That's why all the beings look down at us because how we mistreat each other, how we became more animalistic like, but we're still I don't know. We still have a lot to learn. We still have lots to learn in this world about being human beings, But as for me, it's like I want to expose human beings for what they are, you know. And then the artificial intelligence, I would do the same thing. I would be exposing their fucking ass what they're doing. I would expose the artificial intelligence on what they're doing and how they're treating human beings because that's the way I do. That's the way I am. You know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I found out they treat us like, I mean, they look at us like trash up there. They look at us like we're trash, and they don't want. It's like they don't want us to become them. That's the one thing I found out is like they're so offended for us to become like them. Become a more. They don't want us to ascend. They want to keep us docile. They want to keep us docile. They want to keep us dumb and stupid. You know, which is really, but they don't know what we can. They're afraid. They're afraid of what we can do. They're afraid of what will turn out to be. They're afraid of if we do ascend. They're afraid that they're afraid that to see what we truly are in these bodies. That's why I'm kind of like that's why I'm very curious about this body that I have. I'm curious what this body can do. By taking advantage of this body. About what how's this body is going to turn out. Because the body and the energetic being becomes one on this body. And then you become something else when you become one with this body. And then everything around you becomes one. And then that's the scary part that humanity hadn't fucking discovered about the oneness thing. Becoming all we all become one. Then money will be thrown out the door. When you become one, money will be thrown out, will be useless, and materialism will be gone. And then you understand that you have control of matter. Then you have control of matter. Then you have control of your reality of what you want to how you want to live in this reality by controlling matter itself. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of like my curiosity is wondering how would this body will become. You know what how if this body can evolve I realize if this body can evolve, then then the, then I'm just curious what it's going to evolve into. You know, that's my curiosity of what the body will evolve into. Because I feel the energetics, I feel the energy within this body. You know, I feel the energy within this body. I feel the pressure within my head. You know, because in that reality, the artificial intelligence will not exist in that reality that where I want to go. You know, yeah, inspiration. Yeah, just yeah, I agree with you on that, Gnostic. That we do need to inspire humanity instead of degrading humanity. I'm sorry to yeah, in a weird way but we have to expose humanity first. I realize that we have to expose humanity first, then we can inspire them. You know, by changing by changing and showing that they have more choices than what they really have. You know. So yeah, I'm just saying, right now exposures of humanity needs to come first, and then inspiration comes next. You know, because you have to show the darkness of humanity before you can actually become more. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because for past 10 years, everybody thinks I'm negative, but you have to expose the negative parts of humanity to show the reflect back into themselves in order for them to evolve. And then they have to correct the mistake that they're doing. You know, try to you know try to become a little bit more positive instead of fucking being so materialistic and start having a conscience on your environment and the people around you. So basically I'm trying to show them that they don't have a conscience. you know so yeah, it's like to understanding. It's funny, the word understanding. The understanding of everything around you. You got to understand your environment. You got to understand the. That's funny, that word understanding. That you got to understand everything around you, your environment, the people, even the fucking computers. It's like you have to understand that part. There's no. Yeah, I can tell you, there's no such thing as perfection. Because if you go perfection to the extreme, then you'll have an unconscious world, because people in this reality, they always look at perfection when they dress up in clothes and how they look, and the way they look. It's like, yeah, it's like you shouldn't have a conscience on you shouldn't look at perfection. Because look at me, I'm a fat fuck. I'm gonna tell you, I am a fat fuck. I'm a fat fuck freak. You know, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not perfect. Look at, I'm not perfect, but it's like I just don't like living in a world that's too negative. That's the problem with me. I'm not perfect, but it's like I don't like a negative world. I just want everybody to have the same opportunity, and when it comes to education, when it comes to seeing this reality for what it is. That's all I want. I just want everybody to have an easier life. I don't want everybody to have a hard life. I don't want to live. I want to live. I don't want to live like every. I don't want to. I don't want to be the reflection of these fucking people. You know. Yeah. Perfection is a. I don't know. To me, perfection is kind of like a negative word. You know. I don't know. Something about perfection I just don't like. So it kind of gives me a. It's kind of weird. I can't stand, because the greedy gold diggers, they look like they're when they dress up in their suits, they all think they're all perfect. If you notice that. Yeah, They always want to be perfect and everything. And then it's funny. It's funny. The greedy gold diggers like perfection, but they don't. They kind of like ignore the poor people that are not perfect. If you notice that, it's like when they produce, they want perfection when they produce. You got to be flawless in your perfection. Greedy gold. It's funny. Greedy gold diggers do not like to admit that, because their society is based on perfection. You know. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Perfection is not real. Perfection is not real. I agree with fucking Ilona on that part. Ilona, perfection is not. It's a false. It's like false advertisement. It's like everybody in the news crew. If you notice that everybody in the news are all perfect people. They all dress up perfectly. They all speak perfectly. If you notice the people in media, they're all perfect people. They choose perfect people. They choose. It's like that corporations and CEOs. They always choose perfect people. They always want a perfect people that look. If you notice that, you know, that's one thing I hate about perfection in this world, because they don't realize that's what they choose. That's the people they choose. They want that guy. It's like you don't have some in a strange way. An ugly guy, I found that an ugly guy can look perfect too, in the way they dress. Ugly people can look perfect too. It's like they all want perfection when it comes to materialistic things in life. They all want to look like they're all perfect in this materialistic things in life. That's one thing that's so fucked up about our reality, about this perfection bull crap. Which it's like I don't get it. It's like I don't get the people in corporations. Like it's like they go they evaluate their workers. You notice that the people in corporations, they like to evaluate the workers and tell them if they work hard, or telling them they did a good job. Telling them you didn't work hard enough. I don't know. Perfection is. I don't know. Somehow I don't like perfection. I don't like the word perfection, because I think it's great to live in a world that's not perfect. I feel like we should live in a world that's not perfect, but at the same way, we can all live together in this non-perfect world. But it's like we don't have to have a negative perfect world. We don't have to have a negative world. You know, and we can have a positive world with no perfection at all. You know, because it includes everybody else in this world. That's one thing I don't understand, the word perfection, because I just I don't feel like it's. I would. What's funny about me? I do not trust perfect people, because all the perfect people in my jobs, all the perfect people in my jobs behind the desk run my life. All the people that are perfect looking. I don't care what they look like. It's just the way they dress to look like they are perfect. They're all the ones who run my life. I'm no, and I have to go around in circles for these fuckers. You know, that's one thing you gotta understand about perfection and perfect people and the way they dress, the suit and tie. That's these fucking psychotic people who believe that everybody should wear a suit and tie. Even go to church, you wear a suit and tie. And the way you dress and how you dress, you have to be the almighty perfect person on being in a suit and tie, and then they feel like they're the main focus. They're the one who's leading you. That's one thing I have to question that, because the perfect. What's funny about me? The perfect people always fucking made fun of me in high school. The jocks. The jocks always believe that they are perfect, but at the end, they become fat fucks like me. At the end, they become a fat fuck like me. But back in high school, you're always being pressured on how you look and how you behave, and you have to be part of the in crowd. The in crowd. You remember that in high school? The in crowd, the ones who are popular. That's the perfect. It's like being perfect. You know, the day you were born, you were perfect when you're born, and then you're popular in high school and all that shit. It's like I used to hate that crowd. I hated that crowd when I was in high school. I couldn't stand it because they're the one. Most of them picked on me. You know, because I wasn't perfect. I was a skinny ass nerd. You know. Yeah. Perfection, yeah, it's funny about perfection. Perfection to me is always a negative. I don't. That's my perspective, but you can go on your perspective, agnostic. You know, for me, perfection always been because corporations they like the corporate and government people they like perfection. You know, if you understand what I mean, in their world, in their fucking in their greedy gold digging world because they always want perfection in their greedy gold. It's like religious people do the same thing at being perfect, you know, because they want to be a perfect good, you know, they want to be good and perfect so they can go to heaven, you know. If you understand that part about it's how you use perfection. It's how you use the word perfection is funny how they can abuse the word perfection too, you know, which is really yeah, perfection is the unrealistic view of perfection taken little. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just it depends on how you use the word, you know. Yeah, yeah. That's what I like about Gnostic. You know, that's what I love about Gnostic. You know, it's like I'm just I'm just giving him my, I'll just give you my explanation on perfection, you know, but just, you know, in my way. And you know, me, it's funny when I was a nerd, you know, when I was a fucking nerd, I got made fun of. Jocks were the ones who made fun of me because I was so skinny and I was so nerdy and I had braces too. I was a typical Asian nerd with braces and glasses, you know, during my fucking I had braces all the way to junior high. You know, I had braces. I went from I think sixth grade all the way to junior high wearing braces and glasses and had short hair and wore sweaters and everything. And I always been made fun of because of the jocks. And it's funny about the jocks is that they couldn't believe I could jump farther than they can. They couldn't believe I can run faster than they can because I was skinny and strong, you know? They couldn't believe that. They couldn't believe a nerd like me can outrun them and a nerd like me can outjump them because I have the Asian part of me, you know? But it's like, you know, it's funny. I got made fun from the jocks and the people who wore the leather jackets, you know? You know, the people, we call them rockers or something, you know, back then. You know, I used to get made fun with both groups, you know? Yeah, I'm glad you did. Me, I didn't. I didn't. I had, I had this. I had a Mexican guy and a white guy, you know, in high school that used to pick on me all the time. They used to piss me off on purpose, you know. So I had the balls to tell them I want to go after school and fight them. I had the balls to say it. I want to fight your ass, especially the white guy. The white guy kind of like in junior high you know, kept on picking on me and say, yeah, I want to go fight you. And then all of a sudden the rumors start spreading all over the fucking junior high. All the rumors, it shows you how school is. The rumors start spreading about me fighting this tall ass white guy, skinny ass runt like me, weighed less than 90 pounds. I weighed 90 pounds in junior high. I weighed 90 pounds. I was skinny. And then, yeah, I had the balls to say I want to fight you. So we went away from the school campus. You know, we had a tunnel from my junior high, so we went under the tunnel. So we fought right there. I fought the guy. I pinned the tall white guy down. You know, I could, you know, and he called. And one thing that was so funny, he called it. He said that was even. You know, even though I pinned his ass down, I could have choked his ass. I could have punched his ass while he was still flat on the ground. You know, that's one thing he didn't understand. That I could easily punch his face while he was still on the ground. He was tall. He was taller than me. He punched me in the face too, and I took it. You know, it's funny about me. It's like I could take a punch. You know, back when I was younger, I could take a punch. I could take any kind of punch. You can punch me in the fucking chest, and I could take a punch for a 90 pound, 90 pound person that I was. So yeah, I was a nerd that stuck up for myself, you know, and it shows that jocks can be easily beaten up. They may look strong, they may look big. This guy was tall, big, strong, but I got him down on the fucking ground, and he called that even. And everybody started laughing at me because I didn't want to punch the guy. I just wanted to pin him down, and that was it. That's all I wanted to do. Just wanted to pin him down. I didn't punch him at all. I just pinned him down, make him look like he feel like he was helpless. He couldn't do shit. All he could do is have punch me one time in the fucking face. And I got suspended. It's funny about that. I got suspended for 5 days because I pinned this fucker down, and everybody around me, couldn't say shit to me. Because this guy was taller than me, this guy was stronger than me, and this guy was embarrassed because he said it was an even fight, but in reality, the guy was on the ground. I had all the options of punching him in the face while he's on the ground. So yeah, it's funny about me. That's one thing that people don't understand about me. I could take a punch. I could take a beating. Because I like back then. I used to love fighting back then. I used to love fighting. In my younger age, fighting was the biggest thing for me. I love fighting. I love taking a punch. I love. It's like that was me. That was the other me. Yeah, standing up for yourself. That's all. This is the reason why I do a video like these. I'm standing up. I'm sick of the bullies, because the corporation and government are bullies. That's what they are. That's what these greedy gold diggers are, fucking bullies, and they're taking advantage of you. So that's what I'm about. I hate bullies. I can't stand bullies. Period. Especially in this fucking life that we live in. These fucking bullies, especially the corporations, they're the biggest fucking bullies on this planet. I'm going to tell you, corporations and government, whatever you call them, the corporate America is pure bully. They're just bullies. I'm just calling them out, straight out bullies, that play with our lives. It's really simple, So yeah, standing up for yourself against these fuckers. Standing against these fuckers is what I want. That's what, because I feel like that's when I was in high school. I couldn't stand bullies in high school. What's funny? I met another bully one time. This was in elementary school. This guy was taller, bigger, and here he is fucking bullying all the kids around him. And crazy me. Crazy me. I get in front of the bullies, this bully, I tell him, fuck, punch me. I told the bully, punch me. That was like 90 pounds. And I was like 80 pounds in elementary school. 80 pounds skinny ass runt like me going against a guy that's fucking like 100 pounds. He was a big guy. And I told him, punch me in the chest. Keep punching me in the chest and see what you can do, So yeah, I stand up to these fuckers. I'm standing up to these fucking bullies. That's the way I was in high school. I couldn't stand people who bully other people. And then, high school. I got bullied in high school. Black guy, this skinny ass black guy that always fucking fuck with my head. He wanted me to do his homework and all that shit. And then I had a white guy, another bully in fucking when I was in mechanic school. And I had a white guy, long hair, white guy. I had a white guy and a black guy bullying me at the same time. I was on a tour I was at a Mercedes tour in Germany, and this white guy decided to fucking shove my ass. Shoved me for no reason. He wanted to start a fight right in the fucking Mercedes plant. And the black guy was the same. The black guy was the same problem too. The black guy fucking bullied my ass too. Because I didn't want to do anything for him. I wanted him to learn on his own, because he didn't want to learn on his own. He wanted to copy off of me. everything I'd done. And plus, I wasn't even passing that fucking. It was science class, and I wasn't doing good in science class. I was barely passing it. I made a C. I'm not good at science. That's one thing that fucking people used to think when I was an Asian. That if you're Asian, they thought you were good at it. They thought you were perfect at everything. But they don't realize that I wasn't that smart. So they kind of like fucking they kind of like they always believe, yeah, this is high school for me. After ninth grade, that happened to me in ninth grade, the beginning of my high school day. Everything went down the hill. Everything went down the hill in ninth grade for me, you know. And then I moved to Texas. I went through four different high schools. Since I'm a military brat, let you guys know I'm a military brat. I went through four different high schools. I went to Texas. I had one friend. I remember his name. His name was Shannon. And he was born the exact same day as I was born in Texas. He was a great friend. He was a really great friend, that I used to know him. He lived in Texas. He lived in Killeen. I used to live in Killeen, Texas. Me and him, he was in my math class. He was also, we just became good friends, in my math. And he was up a higher grade than I was. He was like, I was in 10th grade and he was in 11th grade. He was in the same class as I was. And he was a pretty cool guy to hang around with, because he's the one who got me into drinking beers, going to the malls and drinking beers and hanging around with his sister and her boyfriend. I can never forget them. Shannon. He was actually the good friend for that. And then I had one friend in fucking 10th grade, 11th grade. I was in Pennsylvania. I had one friend, and my one friend was a big guy. He was a big, huge guy. He wasn't a skinny. He wasn't like Shannon. He was a big guy, and he was a really great friend to have. He was into comic books. He loved Anthrax. He loved listening to Anthrax. Yeah, I like that guy. That guy was big. I mean, he was big, and he was a good friend. And he invited me to come to his hometown in this town called Tyrone, Pennsylvania. Because I lived in Carlisle, Pennsylvania during that time, on my 11th grade year. And then. Yeah, this guy invited me to his town, and then I finally felt what this feels like to be in a small town where everybody has open doors. It's weird that everybody's door is open. People can walk in there and say, "Hey, can I borrow this? Can I borrow that?" Like you're at home in this one little small town in Tyrone, Pennsylvania. And then from his house, you could see the fucking factory in this valley, because he lived on top. In his whole town was in a valley, and then I could see the factory. The main factory where everybody works at, and I kind of like got to feel out what the small town life was like, versus a military brat life is like. It was. I mean, me and him, we read a lot of comics. We read a lot of Transformer comics mostly. I read most of his. He was into Transformers back then. And then my last year of high school, I'm going to tell you guys, my last year of high school, I didn't make no friends at all. My last year of high school, I was in Maryland for my last year of high school. I got tired of moving, and I got tired of, that I'm leaving a good friend behind, So what's funny about me, I didn't have a locker. I didn't have a locker in my last high school. I had to use my brother's locker. I had to share a locker with my brother, because I couldn't find my locker. I couldn't find my locker where it was at, So I was sharing my brother's locker, because my brother and me were in the same grade, and he was younger than I was. I got put back in second grade. That shows you how dumb I am. I got put back in second grade, so my middle brother was in the same grade as I was. And then, my last year of high school, I couldn't going to lunch. I hate going to lunch in my last year of high school. I sat around with black girls. All these black girls let me sit with them eating lunch. So every day I go eat lunch, I go sit with them. And it's kind of like I'm there, and I kind of like I feel out of place. So yeah, these black girls let me sit with them, eating with them. It's like it was a good feeling, that I had a place to sit. And I always go to the same seat, same place. It was like I did that for a whole year, sitting with the black girls. It's like, and then I realized it's like it just I had nobody, I had no friends, I had no friends at all. Only thing I did was stay at home and do my homework and listen to music. That was it. That's the only thing I had to do. I didn't want to make no friends. It's funny. I didn't want to make no friends. And one thing my brother kind of like that I always discussed about what my brother did. We had a minivan, right? And it was raining, and then I saw these black people walking on the sidewalk, and there was a big, huge puddle. And my brother kind of like, you know, drove on the puddle and then sprayed the water on them. And I felt bad when I saw that. Maryland, what's funny about Maryland changed me when I because I used to I my first job was working in a warehouse, and I was working with all black people, and rednecks. It was either black people and rednecks that I worked in this Maryland job. And it's like I can never forget my first boss. My first boss name was Horace. I can never forget my first boss name. He was the coolest guy that I knew. And then I met this other guy named Keith. You know, he was this black guy named Keith, and he let me. It's funny. He bought a car. It was the Eclipse when they first came out. He bought this Eclipse, and he said he let me drive it. That's how nice he was. He let me drive it, and he was talking about how he got all this stuff and where he buys all this stuff. And I was always curious about how he got the stuff and where does he buy the stuff for his car. Yeah, it's like Keith was a. I mean, Keith, the guy I used to work. My first job was like it's like, and then I had met another guy. He took me to the ghetto. I mean, he really took me to the ghetto, and I looked when I was in the ghetto. It was like it didn't feel like a ghetto. It didn't feel like a ghetto. It didn't feel like anything when I was there. It's like these. I hanged around with a lot of black people in Maryland, which is kind of like it changed everything about how I look at people, because these people in Maryland changed me. I'm going to tell you, these people in Maryland, these black people in Maryland changed my ass. That's one thing they don't realize. And then when I joined the army, I hanged around with Hispanic people. I hanged around with Mexican people, and that was a totally different. And I get to experience their culture and all that stuff. The Mexican people, because in the army we have. I used to hang around with this Mexican guy. You know, and I can never forget him. He couldn't handle the army life. He came into my door and knocked on my door, and he started crying. And he said his dad was rich. He told me his dad was rich, and he joined the army because he did it for fun. And he said he could buy anything. And it's funny. He told me one story. I never forgot what he said. That he could have bought a Porsche. Instead he bought a Yugo. So he could fucking offend his fucking dad, because he bought a Yugo, back then when Yugos were popular. It's like I can never forget somebody like it's like some of this, and then I had another friend. He was Mexican, and it was his name was I forgot his name. I can remember his face, and I can remember his best friend that I used to hang around with. They were the coolest people that I hang around with. They took care of you. That's one thing I like about Mexican people. They take care of everybody else. Army life, we all took care of each other when we're in the army. I'm telling you, in the army, we all took care of each other. We all looked out for each other in the army. That's one thing they don't understand. That's why I'm trying to. I wish I can bring the same feeling that I had in the army out here, where we're all taken care of. We're all everybody. It's like in the army, you have to eat. I'm going to tell you, they make us eat 3 meals a day in the army. They make us eat 3 meals a day, because they got to make sure that's the most important thing for a human being is eating 3 meals a day, And then it's funny. It's like we all all became. It's like the second year of my the second I did an extension in the army. I was in the army for 4 years, and I did an extension in Germany. And the second half of the year was the best year I had in the army because I had more friends than I did on the first 2 years of the army. Because the first 2 years of the army, I was staying in my room and playing Nintendo. The second half of the year is like I had these new people that came from other bases, and they all sit and invite me to go out and party with them. Which is like, it's like, and then it's funny is you know being in the army is like you're so versatile. It's like you're all green in the army. I mean, when I was in the army, we're all green. That's I didn't understand it from the beginning when I first joined the army because that's the first thing they gave me the question and I didn't understand that. And then all of a sudden, and then I realized, yeah, we're all the same color, green in the army. So why can't we have that out here? We're all human beings. We all should be fed. We all should be taken care of. Because when I was in the army, we all take care of each other. When you come out here in the civilian life, these greedy gold diggers, it's the opposite of the army. I can tell you that right now. It's the opposite of the army because they don't take care of their fellow human beings. Because that you got to make sure your fellow human beings fucking eat, have good health, have a good place to stay. That's basically what the army was like for me. Because it's funny being a military brat. I understand. I didn't live like the civilian people live as a military brat. I mean, I went to a civilian high school. I mean, when I was in Colorado Springs, the longest high school I was a civilian. I was from third grade to eighth grade. That's the longest place I stayed. Colorado Springs was the longest place I stayed when I was a military brat. My dad went to Fort Carson, Colorado. And I used to see the space shuttle. I remember when I was younger, I used to go on the hill, get a binoculars, and you can see the space shuttle landing in this Air Force base that I used to see at the airport. It was pretty cool to see it. When the first space shuttle came out. Because I remember the first space shuttle back in the 80s. It's just I don't know. I actually had Colorado Springs I actually had some kind of childhood. I actually had some kind of childhood when I was in from third grade to eighth grade, where I actually had friends, and then I realized the ones I known for since elementary, and then junior high kind of like separated us. All my friends that I knew in elementary separate us. Well, the jocks become the jocks. After you go to eighth grade, the jocks become the jocks. The nerds become the nerds, and then the freaks become the freaks. That's when we're all segregated. Once we join high school, that's American way of doing things back in the 80s. Like we're all the friends that you had in elementary school. All of a sudden, they're not your friends anymore. And then you don't really see them anymore because they're so wrapped up with their own jock life and their own perfect people life. Because I used to hate perfect people because they're the ones who didn't like nerds like me. It's funny. I met my first gay people. I went to this art class, and I saw my first gay. Gay. These people that I could tell they were gay because the way they were talking and all that stuff. But I sat with them, and it's like, and they were always talking about hot pink. They're always talking. One thing that I can never forget what they said about them talking about hot pink, and it's like it was so interesting just hearing them. So I kind of like. So what's wrong with this? I mean, what's wrong with these people acting the way they act and being the way they are? It's like they were so natural and who they were. It wasn't there was nothing unnatural about it, and it's like I accepted them and who they are because they always talk about hot pink all the time. That was in junior high. I knew they were gay. It just it's fun just to listen to them. It was fun just to listen, and they were great artists too. They were really good artists. And it's like in my senior year, I saw this girl. She was into like she wanted to be an actress for like those soap operas. And I was in my clay. I was in art school doing clay. And she noticed the way I do things when I do clay moldings and all that stuff. The art teacher said I was pretty good at doing it. Just coming up. The only thing part about it that every time I put it in the fucking burner, it comes out really fragile and it breaks apart. But she was a really good looking girl. I mean, she was a great looking girl, and she was the first good looking girl that kind of like treated me like a normal human being, in an art school. She was a perfect, and this was in Maryland. This was in Maryland. This girl was really good looking, and she treated me like I was normal. It's like then, all that years I've been picked on by perfect people. I finally had one perfect girl, this perfect good looking girl that was into being want to be a soap opera actress. You know, and she was like the only one that kind of like, okay, so then none of them are all superficial and have big egos. You know, she kind of like break the mold on how I saw, because whenever I see perfect people, the egos come with it. They have big huge egos. It's funny. It's like Maryland has changed me. How I used to look at things. And the army changed me too. The army changed a lot about me. My big friend was a big old redneck. My best friend that died, he was a redneck from Kansas. You know, he was a redneck from Kansas, and there was some good thing. There was some good qualities about him, and we have our differences. I mean, we are different between me and him, but he was a good old boy. And I miss the fucker because I've known him since the army. I've known him since the army. It's like I miss the fucking asshole. He was he always called me shits for brain. I remember him not, I kind of miss him saying that a lot, because, and in reality, I was actually smarter than him. When it comes to money, I was smarter than him, you know. But when it comes to fixing stuff, he was good at fixing stuff. So, yeah, I used to like watching him fix his truck. I used to like watching him. He does things on his own, and I used to like watching that. It fascinates me watching this big old redneck. He doesn't see himself as a redneck though, you know. But he was more of an atheist in his own ways. He's more of an atheist than I am. So yeah, we had something in common. He loved comic books, which was pretty cool. He loved comic books. He reads a lot of comic books, And that's one thing I liked about him. It's like I used to be into comic books, but now I'm not. I've been away from comic books since I got out. Yeah, since I got out. Well, yeah, since I got out of high school, I've been away from comic books since I got out of high school. That's a long time ago, 20 years ago. You know, my thing is I used to like Daredevil. I used to love Daredevil because he was a blind guy who used sound. Who used sound to look. He was a normal guy. I used to like normal heroes. I didn't like heroes with extraordinary powers and all that shit. Yeah, Daredevil was my favorite hero. I stopped reading Daredevil when I was in the army. You know, it got way better when I was in the army. Daredevil, the art got way better, and it got more twisted. you know, because I used to have, it's funny about me. I look at Daredevil, you know, I mean, he takes chances, you know, he fights people, he does the impossible. Being blind that he is, he does the impossible, you know. So why can't I do this in real life? You know, why can't I do this in real life? You know, do the impossible. You know, yeah. I mean, Maryland was the biggest. Maryland changed me. I had no friends, and then the warehouses where everything where I saw a lot of things. Understand the black people because my parents are afraid of black people. My mom especially is afraid of black people. And here I am working in a fucking warehouse full of black people. And the friends the my coworkers that I work with, you know, Keith and Horace, because I can remember them the most because they left a mark on me that they don't realize that they left a mark on me. Keith and Horace. And Horace was my supervisor. He was a big old black guy, but he left a mark on me. Keith and Horace, they don't realize that they did, you know. And there was another guy and there was three other guys that took me around to see where they live, you know, and like and and then they have to question the way they live, and I realize how more friendly that they are. They are the most friendliest people that I can never forget, you know, that left a mark on me. So now I want to in a weird way I want to fucking give back. I want to fucking expose for this reality what they have done to them, that they are struggling out there, you know. That's one thing you don't realize. It's sad. I mean, it's like they don't, you know, when I was, yeah, being 19 years old, 19, 20 years old, you don't know how much influence that these people have put onto me, you know. In the army too. I mean, the army is like there's some influence in there too with the Mexican people. It's like I have no guilt for Mexican people because they're the hardest workers. I mean, Mexican people are the hardest workers, and you don't know how hard they work. You know, these guys are willing, just for a dollar. You know, that's why they can say bad shit about me. I mean, I don't care if they say bad shit about me, but I'm aware that they work their ass off out there. When I go out driving a truck, I used to go out to California, pick up vegetables, and all I see is these fucking people picking up vegetables by hand. You know, and nobody would do that. No one would do that. You know, reality check. No one would go out there and pick these vegetables by hand. You know, so you got to be. So you have to see a whole different perspective. Say, and then when I go, it's like when I go out there in California, it's like, yeah, would a the question is, would a white person go out there and pick vegetables? You know, 100 acres of vegetables, I say 100 acres of vegetables. Would they go out there and pick vegetables? Would they go out there pick apples? I found that apples you had to pick by hand, you know? I found out there's some places apples you have to pick by hand. So they have some kind of carrier so you can pick all the apples up, you know? So would any white person pick apples? You know? Yeah, America was built on slavery. I'm going to tell you, America was built on slavery, and we're still slaves. You know, that's what America is. America is nothing but a slave. I mean, this whole planet is nothing but a slave planet. You know, that's the reality of it. This planet is a slave planet. America was built on slavery by slaves. Doesn't matter what color you are now. Now it doesn't matter what color you are because we're just a modern version of a slave. You know, that's all we are. We're just a modern version of a slave. Instead of the black people, they want everybody else. They want to include everyone else now in this world. So that's why I say greedy gold diggers, because greedy gold diggers everybody. You know, it's not particular. I mean, there's particular groups that likes to dominate and make you and suppress you. Yeah, there's certain groups, but they're all controlled by the ones on top of the pyramid. And they're influenced by the ones on top of the pyramid. So that I realized this particular group that's so dominant is so influenced by that particular group, another group, that controls them, and then bring it down on us. So you could see the influence of that one particular group, you know, greedy gold diggers. Yeah, I know. America collapsed a long time ago. America collapsed a long time ago, you know, because the money they're printing out is not even real anyways, you know. Especially if you have the federal, funny about the Federal Reserves, creating counterfeit money. That's what Federal Reserves do. They're creating counterfeit money, and they're distributing the counterfeit money all over the place. And in reality, human beings are working for free because that money is not real, you know. And they don't see the Masonic symbol on, especially here in America. There's a Masonic symbol right there in front of their fucking face every day, and it's funny that they believe in this. They believe in the almighty green dollar, which is not real. The money is not fucking real. So yeah, you work hard. You're working hard for counterfeit money that really doesn't is not even real. In it shows you the ignorance the greedy gold diggers are. I mean, the greedy gold diggers are so ignorant that they were willing to believe in this so-called counterfeit money, you know. And then yeah, and sooner or later the counterfeit money is going to go, and then they're going to and is going to become more electronic. So they're going to get away with that too. So they can create whatever number they want. When it comes to electronics, they can create whatever numbers they want. They can pick and choose. They can shut off your account whenever they want. You know, they can shut off your account. They can do these people that has the controls have the power to shut the yeah, like I said, they can determine whether who lives and who dies. So that's why you have corruption within your own system. This whole system is corrupt because you're picking and choosing who lives or who dies, who gets to get paid more and who gets to get paid less. What kind of fucking yeah? You got to be a fucking mentally ill person that the pick and choose and who lives and who dies and who gets to be poor or rich. You know. So yeah, your system always been from the beginning when they first started this system. It was a failure from the beginning. You know, you can see that in the first depression. You can see that in 2008 depression. You can see. I mean, you can see it's a failure because I mean, nobody talks about this shit, but how much the system is a failure. It doesn't take care of people. You know. It's not positive. It doesn't. That's one thing about. That's why I kind of like use the army in some ways, that we are all being taken care of. We're all being fed. You know. So corporations don't see it that way. They don't want to feed their humans. They don't want to give them good health. You know. They don't want to give them. They don't want to provide housing. So yeah. So this really shows you how selfish they really are in civilian life. Civilian life, you're selfish. You know, compared to, I mean, army is kind of selfish too in the same way, but at the same time, we're all working together like a collective. But you always got a hierarchy. You always got the leaders. Because I realize the leaders are all misleading us. You notice that all the leaders in this system is all misleading us. We're all leading. We're going down the hole every time the system fails. These leaders lead us down to our down to the shithole. If you notice that, that's what these leaders do. They're not leading us. They're misleading us. You know, they're leading us to our demise. And the greedy gold diggers, that they trust their leaders. That's leading us to our demise. The depopulation. It's funny about depopulation. You know, and these are the very leaders that the greedy gold diggers follow. Don't you notice that? These are the very leaders that the greedy gold diggers follow. This shows you how really ignorant they really are. It's like they can play with our population. That's the fun thing about this world is that they can play with our population in this world. You know, they can play with our lives because that's what the world's set up for. The world is set up for us to be for population control. They want the best. Basically, they pick and choose who's the best, who gets to stay alive. That's kind of like how they are. They get to pick and choose who's the best, who gets to stay alive. Versus the one, we don't need you because you're not smart enough. You're dumb. You're really dumb. So you go down in the poor section. You know, okay, you're kind of smart. We'll put you in the middle class section. Oh, we like you. You're a genius. But sometimes you can be stupid too. If you know anybody within that family or within anybody in that family, if you're stupid, you'll go up in the rich ass section. You know. So yeah, they categorize us in our world. They kind of like they filter us. Basically, that's what they do. They filter us in this reality. You know. If you're not smart enough, they put you in the poor section. If you can't control your money, if you can't control your money, then that's how they filter us. If you can't control your money, that's how they kind of like separate us. It's like being smart. It's like you got to be smart about this system. Because they do like smart people. And one thing they do about smart people, they like them to a point, but they don't want. It's like it's like like they said, they compartmentalize these smart people, so they don't know what the other one's doing. So they do that. That's what they do a lot. They compartmentalize everything, especially for the people who are really smart. Because they want to keep the smart people dumb too. I'm telling you, they want to keep the smart people dumb because they don't want to know they don't want to know what the other one's doing in this world, you know? So smart people are kept dumb too. I'm going to tell you that right now. Smart people are kept dumb and they're being taken advantage of in this world, you know? So yeah, I'm just tired of playing the game because that's what it is nothing but a fucking game with my third grade education as a dumb truck driver. I can hear the dog. There's a girl next door to me that has a dog, and he's kind of like crying, "Come back, come back." I don't mind the dog doing it though. He's crying right now. Yeah, he's crying. Poor dog. when she comes home, he's calmed down. He's happy. I got used to the dog. Actually, it was kind of weird. I got used to the. I don't mind dogs. Yeah, we are fucking helpless people. That's what we are. We're very helpless people. Yeah, the dog is crying. Ilona, the dog's crying. I mean, he misses the owner. Yeah, the dog is lonely right now. It's funny. It's funny. It's stupid about my HOA place. They don't allow pets to be at the swimming pool. They don't allow pets to be at the swimming pool. That's one thing that's so ashamed about humanity, not allowing pets to be anywhere or take pets. Pets are our family. Why can't you just say we go on an airplane? Why can't we have a pet in a fucking regular seat? Just like a human being. If pets are family, why do we treat them like fucking shit? You know, especially corporate people. Corporate people treat pets like shit. I'm telling you for a fact.